You'll excuse me being a bit out of breath, won't you? But I've been running, do you see? I had to get away from that place. I've had some funny experiences in my life, but nothing like the one I've just had. I tried all in wrestling, and believe me, that's the right name for it, all in. I was all in 2 seconds after we'd started. Of course, I knew it was a bit rough like the Big Apple, but you do stand a chance in the Big Apple. And I'll admit I didn't know very much about it, and I made 1 or 2 mistakes. Now, the first mistake I made was when I went into the ring, and the second one was when I came out, on me head instead of me feet. However, to begin at the commencement, when I got into the ring, opposite to me was a very large gentleman. He looked like a cross between Boris Karloff and a hippopotamus, and they announced him as Skilowski, the human anesthetic. Well, I thought, this must be the gentleman that's going to wrestle with me. So I went over to him, and I said, it turned out nice again. You know, I just want to make him feel at home. Now, whether he misunderstood me or not, I don't know. I wouldn't like to say. But before I knew where I was on my back. Somebody picked me up, then I heard a gong strike, and I was on my back again. Now, in the next few seconds, I did things I never thought possible. I did the splits, I stood on my head, I put my legs round my neck, and finished up like a sailor's knot. Now, I like a little bit of fun as well as anybody, but I do think he went a bit too far, because when all's said and done, I wasn't built for a contortionist, and how I did it I don't know. I've never been able to touch my toes before, and I wouldn't have cared if he'd have left it at that, but he jumped on me as well. I thought, oh, it's time I made a move, but the only thing I could move were my eyelids. Now, by this time, I thought it had gone far enough. So very politely, I didn't want to be rude to him, you know. I said, now, do you mind if I get up, please? But I don't think he understood English, because he grabbed me by the hair, banged me head on the floor 3 times. And then I told him I was wanted on the telephone, but he didn't take the slightest bit of notice. He just put his legs round my neck and nearly choked me. Well, now, that was more than flesh and blood could stand. I thought, oh, it's time I got up now. But he wouldn't let me. Then something seemed to say to me, I don't know what it was, not to this day I don't know what it was, but something seemed to say to me, this man doesn't want you to get up. So naturally I felt a little bit annoyed, and I thought when I do get up I'll give him a piece of my tongue. But I was too late. He'd taken a piece already. Now that was the last straw. I thought, right, you've asked for it, and now you're going to get it. I thought 2 can play at this game, so there and then I made up my mind I'd teach him a lesson. But before I could say Jack Robinson or even a shorter name, he picked me up and threw me right in the air. Now, when I came down, I was in 2 minds as to what to do. I didn't know whether to argue with him or use force. You see, I was rather awkwardly placed. I'd no idea where my arms were or what had happened to my legs. Then suddenly, just like a bolt from the blue, I saw a leg right across my face. I thought, this is my chance. I'll be up in no time now. So I bit the leg as hard as I could. Oh, but what a mistake I made. It was my leg. Well, of course, that disheartened me altogether. I thought, well, if I'm going to be on his side as well, I might as well give in. I realized I couldn't fight both of us. And in any case, I was frightened to do anything else. You see, I didn't know which was him and which was me. I thought if I poke his eyes out, they'll probably be mine. Oh, I was in a tangle. I've never been in such a position in my life. I prayed that something would happen so that I could get up. And something did happen. I got up all right, but not the way I wanted. He picked me up. He spun me round like a top. He threw me right up in the air. And while I was in the air, I thought of that old saying, what goes up must come down. And believe me, it's right. I came down all right, but only for a second. This man, well, he wasn't a man. I think he was an octopus. He seemed to have legs and arms all over the place. He picked me up again, banged me on the floor as hard as he could. Now, there was no reason for that. I wasn't doing any harm, and it was my own leg I bit, it wasn't his. I couldn't understand it. I hadn't said a wrong word to that man in my life. I'd never seen him before. Then it suddenly dawned on me, I can't tell you why, not if you gave me £1,000, But it suddenly dawned on me that this man had turned against me. So I thought, well, there's only one thing to do. I must get out of this ring by hook or by crook. And believe me or believe me not, that man must have read my thoughts, because he just picked me up like a baby and threw me right out of the ring. And that was the only sensible thing he'd ever done. But unfortunately for me, he threw me on top of some people who seemed to be annoyed because they threw me back again. Then Mr. Kolofsky, I think he was getting frightened of me then, because he threw me out again. Well, after they'd been playing shuttlecock with me for a little while, he had to go at the referee, and he threw him out of the ring as well. Well, this caused a great commotion, and right in the middle of it all, somebody announced that Mr. Kolofsky had been disqualified and that I was the winner. So there and then I decided I would retire from wrestling with an unbeaten record. He had me on the mat, played with me like a cat on Ilkley Moor.